Yeah. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here at Unity as we celebrate the Sunday before Christmas. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and this whole time in the season is about tuning into that beautiful presence. It's about touching in at depth to that which is within you. So as we explore the Christmas story in a little different way today, I invite you to let the choir touch your heart. Let that story that is really what is happening at Christmas, our story, to move deep within and open your heart in the joy and in the peace and in the love that you are. Thank you for joining us.
There is a candle a family whose hearts are blazing. So let's raise our candles and light up the world, calling on the Spirit in the name of holy love, makes us a beacon in darkened times. Carry your candle to the darkness, sing of the helpless, see them Please stand, and we're going to sing Hark, the Herald Angels Sing.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity Center in Walnut Creek. And we are so blessed with your presence this morning. You guys are absolutely beautiful. I've missed you. My name is Linda Stevens, and I've just missed you guys. You are just the most precious people in the world. Thank you for letting me say. I just took the... Okay, as we begin, please silence your phones. And go ahead and turn them completely off, please. I understand it kind of interferes with our people at home getting good reception. So we turn around and say hi to the folks at home, and we're glad you're here with us today. Thank you. Our heart minister today is Maria, and she'll be up here in just a couple of minutes. And we are so very, very blessed to have our very special music today by our Joyful Noise Choir, directed by Reverend Sheila. You guys get better looking all the time. I mean, absolutely. And you guys get better all the time. Thank you so much for your hard work and your dedication. Thank you. Now, let's get our service started by going within and taking a few minutes to go to that special place inside that you and Spirit share whenever you're ready. And let's focus our intention through our opening affirmation. Please join me in prayerfully and powerfully speaking it together 3 times. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And let that go in just a little bit deeper. Take a breath. And together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And now the 3rd time together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Now let's continue our time together by reading aloud our statement of unity. Together, God's love is within each of us, guiding us to dynamically express our wholeness, wisdom, and abundance. We acknowledge the universal wisdom in the Christ teachings and in all spiritual paths. I now choose to open to the presence of divine love and to be changed at death. Throughout this sacred time, God is uplifting me and through my heart, the world.
Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas, Merry
divine love. This season, we are celebrating the birth of the Christ Spirit within the man known as Jesus. Let us share together a poem written by a beloved Christian saint, Teresa of Avila. Let nothing disturb thee. Let nothing disturb thee. Let nothing affright thee. All things are passing away. God alone never changes. Patient endurance attains to all things. Whoever has God wants nothing. God alone suffices. Let me say this again. Whoever has God wants nothing. Who is the one that has God? All ye raise your hands confidently and say, I am. I am. I am that one. For it is so. Christ lives in you. He is your hope of glory, your true self. Jesus knew who he truly was. May you also know yourself as the embodiment of the divine Spirit.
And you guys, that was fantastic. Now I'm going to bring a couple of things to your attention that are happening this week. Actually, you know what's happening this week, don't you? But tonight, Reverend Sheila is going to be doing Satori breath work, and you can come and join her and experience healing, release, and peace. And tomorrow night, we'll all be gathering here to celebrate the holiday season and experience our family with a candlelight service on Christmas Eve. And then on the New Year, for New Year's Eve, we'll be doing Burning Bowl here. So please come back and join us. Now for details on these, please look at your bulletin. Now is our time where we get to acknowledge anyone who's here for the first time. So do we have anybody here that's, even if you've been here a time or two and you still feel new, you can raise your hand. Ah, look at all these people that are here. Well, we would like to acknowledge you in just a minute, a little bit more formally, and we'd love to meet you. And we invite you to experience our community as our guest at a unity event of your choosing. Please take the very important present card, and I'll bet you I've got one in here. I do. Show you what it looks like. Take this and take it to our welcome table, which because of the rain will be back in our bookstore today. And they'll help you figure out what event you might like to come to as our guest where we can get to know you. So now, raise your hand again, okay? And then everybody focus your energy on all these lovely people that are here with us for the first time, because we want them to know that they're welcome and that we would like for them to come back. So now please accept a blessing from us. Together, we love you and we bless you, and we behold the light of Christ shining through you. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you. Now the rest of you take a minute and stand up and greet your neighbors, okay? And tell those new people hello.
Okay, take that deep breath through your heart. And you know when you do that and you get your heart in harmony, it's encircling those around you. So just wiggle a little bit and tickle the people down the way. Okay, and then gently relax, let go as we move inner and we begin this journey into prayer and meditation, the time of touching that divine presence. Gently bring your awareness to your heart. Be aware of how this time, this beautiful Christmas time, has been calling each of our hearts to open, to treasure loved ones, to celebrate the goodness that fills life itself, calling us to heal those things of pain we carry, that we might know the true joy of that presence. Feel that beautiful power as people all over join in this experience of love that is Christmas time. Love for family, love for friends. We honor that love as it sweeps the world. Not only those of us who celebrate Christmas, but each of the beautiful traditions as they celebrate the birth of greater consciousness. For that is what this is. The birth of greater consciousness within each of us. The birth of greater awareness of this divine presence and love. The birth of greater goodness in life itself as we open to let that divine flow through each of us. Feel that birth taking place now within you, your family, this beautiful spiritual community, and within our greater world. For as it is born in us, it is born into life itself. To treasure that birth and let it come forth within our hearts in its fullness, I invite you to journey into that place of stillness, that inner silence. So feel not only the joy of this season, but its peace. That holy night, that touch of love. Peace, honor, goodwill to all. As guided by the Master, we enter into that place of stillness, Peace, be still. Peace, be still. Beloved presence, we acknowledge that there is so much love flowing through each of our hearts, all of our hearts, all of life. That love here present heals each of us. We are whole. We are one. We are wise. We are at peace. That love present. We enfold everyone dear to us, and they are lifted into that wholeness now. In that love. This spiritual community is lifted into the fulfillment of that purpose within each heart and that divine purpose that flows through all it does. And every request for prayer here is lifted into that place of wholeness now. That love flows through our hearts, across the communities in which we live, healing and blessing, flows across our nation, healing its fears and bringing forth the compassion of all its peoples. It flows across the nations of the world to touch the hearts of all people, bringing forth their compassion and the deep desire for peace with all. That love flowing through our hearts embraces all people in their prayer, in mosque and synagogue, temple and church, at home or on the hillside. We celebrate each in prayer, for we are one. That divine love flows through our hearts to bless this beautiful earth and all her creatures. And this love flows about the earth to touch the heart of every person, calling forth that beautiful, radiant love that each is. For in your love, we are one. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. Please join me. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And once again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And it is so. In that presence and power that is the love in each heart. Amen. Okay, take that deep breath. Ah, oh, how beautiful. So Christmas time, we're celebrating the birth of the child of God. So turn to your neighbor and say, "Good morning, you beautiful child of God." Beautiful child of God. Okay, so I wanted to make sure that we remembered what Christmas is about. So easy to get into the story of long ago, and it's not about long ago. It's about here, about now, it's about you, and it is about something amazing and beautiful that is unfolding, that you are a part of. Wow, can you imagine what it took for you to be here at this time? All you had to journey through, all you had to learn, and some of us chose harder ways of learning than others. But we all had a few bumps along the journey, okay? So that you could be here at this time, at this place, to be about the purpose of your being in this amazing Christmas when so much energy, so much power, so much beauty is moving. Now, I see some of that in the Christmas story, but I've always had a little problem with the Christmas story. The Gospels have this young woman out there, and suddenly this angel shows up and says, "Okay, now you're going to get pregnant." Like nobody ever before. And it's not acceptable in your culture. And you're supposed to do all this stuff. And she says, "Of course." I'm glad it didn't happen to an American woman. I don't think they'd have come up with the same answer. And it's occurred to me that there's a little bit more to the story that they didn't bother to tell us in the Gospels. So I thought I might share with you another understanding of the story. A story that, an understanding that doesn't begin at the time of Jesus' birth, but about 300 years earlier, in the time of the prophet Elijah. Now, one of the gifts that some beings have is that ability to look and see how the spiritual energy and cycles unfold. They are able to perceive how we go through the birth of new consciousness and the change in human consciousness. Those beings have always been with us. Charles Fillmore was one. It's one of the reasons we appreciate his teaching so much. But at that time, part of what the prophet Elijah brought was an understanding that a new level of consciousness, a higher consciousness, could be brought into the experience of humankind. And that would have to be brought the way all consciousness is brought, by living it. And to actually do that would take a spiritual preparation. And so it gathered a group of people, and they began that process of prayer and meditation, supporting each other. And through those years, that group became known as the Essenes. And that group had as their purpose to bring forth that which would change the consciousness of humankind. Now, at that time, the understanding of that form was what they called Messiah. Okay, that which brings new consciousness, the anointed one. That which would express a greater connection with the divine. So you've got these people working in terms of prayer and meditation, focused on the experience of attunement. And as they do this, it turns out that there is an understanding that that cycle is coming to fulfillment. Now, as each one goes along, it comes to fulfillment within them and their personal purposes they attune. But as that gathers, it also creates a greater process of fulfillment for the whole. So what they did was they focused very sincerely on calling forth the young women, that those young women might be prepared to become an instrument through which that higher consciousness might express. As they called those young women, one of the children that was brought forth, my understanding is at age 4, was Mary. So you have a group of little girls who are brought into what I understand was the Essene Temple at Mount Carmel. And they are educated, they are taught spiritual attunement, but the great knowledge of that day, the scriptures of their time, as they are prepared for one of them to be that instrument. Now the story, as I'm sharing it with you, obviously isn't in the Gospels, but that's okay. The story I'm sharing with you, for the most part, comes from the readings of Edgar Cayce. Now, I had the privilege of working with those readings extensively for many years, and I came to really appreciate the understanding and the wisdom that was there, and the validation that showed up in many areas. Does that mean he's right on this? I haven't a clue. But I have found it valuable enough in helping me look at it differently that I wanted to share it with you. He has a beautiful moment that is captured. And it's a moment when Mary and these young women are, well, she's just about to turn 13. And so they've been in this gathering, for the times they were there in school. There were times when they were home with their families. But essentially, they've been in this setting of spiritual focus and education for many years now. The sun shone upon the steps that led to the altar called the temple steps, when during the first period of the morning the maidens were going to the altar for prayer, as well as to burn incense. Okay, this would be one of the regular practices that they had in their spiritual discipline. On that day, as they mounted the steps, all were bathed in the morning sun, which not only made a beautiful picture, but clothed them all, as it were, in purple and gold. Soon the girls appeared and began to climb the steps to the altar. Mary led the procession. Now nearing her 13th birthday, she was becoming a lovely young woman with chestnut hair and blue eyes that danced with merriment. Behind her was her friend, and he goes on and identifies a number of the young women who were a part of this group. As Mary reached the top step, there was thunder and lightning. She stood still, her eyes looking up in radiant wonder and awe. A great halo of light formed around her, and within the light, the angel Gabriel appeared, taking the child by the hand before the altar. This touches the teachers, the people who were the guides to these young women as they are there assembled. This was the manner of choice. This was the showing of the way, for Mary had led the others on this day. After a moment, the vision ended. Judy, who was their primary teachers, directed the girls to take their usual places. It would be 3 more years before Mary would conceive the Christ child, and longer still before she would join Joseph. But as this time approached, the famed wise men had already begun their journey, and Mary's teacher would play a role in what was now to unfold in the land. Interesting experience, the designation of Mary as this one that was to be the instrument. But if you'll notice, this is a well-educated, supported, intelligent, spiritually disciplined young woman. Not random selection. Okay. 3 years before, she was given the understanding of what was before her. With her were teachers and people of wisdom who would honor and support her in that process as she prepared to say yes for that purpose that she had been attuning herself for through her life. They don't mention that in most of the stories, but I think it's important because what we are seeing is the fulfillment of purpose. What you are about right now is the fulfillment of your purpose. The spiritual energy and power at this time is there to support you in becoming all of whom you really are, of being present in this world the way you intended to show up. Now, there's an interesting thing that takes place here. It appears, as I understand this story, that there is support for you in your purpose at every level of being. The story goes on, of course, with Joseph, who Casey says was selected by the Essene elders to be Mary's husband. Of the journey, and of course that strange thing at the end. Only Casey says that the father of the innkeeper was actually the father of two of the girls who were there, that it was run by the Essenes, and so there was the intention of turning them away for protection and for privacy, and that people looked and found what was needed, the grotto, the stable under the hill. That above the hill, since there were scenes in that community, they would naturally gather together to take care of their flocks. And they had to sense, some of those folks up there, that something was about to happen. It was a community. Communities do rumors. Okay? You get angels and stuff, and somebody's bound to mention it to somebody. Okay, imagine, don't say anything about this. Okay, so what happens? So they get the message. They get the experience of the angels that calls what? This wonderful community to respond and go support these people, to bring them what they need. Both the spiritual support, the love, the care, and all they could eat. Okay. Little different story. But it's important because if that was true for them, couldn't it be true for you? I want to go to a little different book. A book on universal laws. There is a law. It is called the law of equality. It's one not often mentioned. And it goes, your true needs, wants, desires, hopes, dreams, and wishes, and their fulfillment are as important as those of any other soul in existence. Your dreams, your wants, your wishes, your hopes are as important as any other soul in existence. That includes Jesus, Mary, and all of them. You are that important. And the fulfillment of what you're about is that important. So if that support showed up for him, it's going to show up for you. Take a deep breath. Now, the difficulty of that is it makes it harder to say no. But that choice is there. But the truth is, you know what you're about. It's no secret to you. Now, I've found as I've looked that I've done my best to hide it from myself a number of times, fairly successfully for short periods, and then it comes back and I avoid it again. Okay, I think we all do that a little bit. But you know, it's in your heart. It's been important to you, whether it's a level of being or whether it is that which is created through you. Because my guess is none of you are sitting here by accident. Nobody. Now, it's okay. You can tell yourself you're an exception. Anything to avoid it a little bit longer, but Christmas is getting powerful. Okay, and that love is moving, and part of what it's about this year is you getting on with what you are about. And if I understand the Christmas story as I've shared it, for you, there is support for that at every level of being. Now, it's one thing to go ahead and say, okay, that was a long time ago, and, you know, communities and all that sort of stuff. But I notice you're sitting in a community today, and sometimes we get a look. One of the treats that Spirit has given me is it keeps bringing me these glimpses into just how present that help is. So let's leave ancient times and go to 1930s North Dakota winter. Any people here that have experienced a North Dakota winter? No, okay, there's some of you. Don't you love California? Okay, yes. Yeah, North Dakota winters are a little extreme. Okay, and this is a young girl. Her name is Julie, and Julie is 10 years old. And Julie's family has been through some difficult times. Okay, we're going through the Great Depression. The father had lost the farm. And the summer before, the mother had died. So you have 4 children and the father with barely enough money to live on. The father had work, but it was long and hard and paid very little. So the accommodation that they had was an old farmhouse. And old farmhouses are very leaky, and in North Dakota winters, that's pretty uncomfortable. Okay, so the little girl comes down with a fever. Now, in their family, because the house was cold, they all wore blankets. Now, they had an oil heater, but if you've been in a cold house in cold weather, you know you bundle up a little bit. Everybody had a blanket that they wrapped around them. But as her fever came on, the children would share their blanket with her to help to bundle her up and keep her warmer. And in the morning, they all had to leave and go to school and work. And the father was away at his work. And so the little girl's sitting there, and she's wrapped up in these blankets next to the oil heater. And she's thinking about her family. And she cares and is concerned because the brothers and sisters are giving up their warmth and their cold to help take care of her. And her father is struggling so hard for what is not really enough. And so she wants her family cared for. That's the desire on her heart. And she does the only thing that she can see to do. She prays. So she prays for blankets for her brothers and sisters and a little bit of money to help her father. That's her prayer. That's her desire. A little bit later, she's startled when the door opened and someone enters the house. Now she's startled because her brother had locked the door when he left. A man comes in. And the man has blankets in his hands. She looks at the man and he turns to her and just makes a gesture before her, and suddenly she feels at peace. There's no threat there. She feels calm and okay. And he says, I have these blankets for you. And she looks at the man and realizes he's in kind of a white shirt and jeans and very inappropriate dress for North Carolina winters. Or not North Dakota, I'm sorry. Much colder up there. So she says to him, you better take one of those blankets to keep yourself warm. And he says, no, these are for you. He says, and here's some money to help your family. And then he turns to her and says, Julie, you'll be better soon. And leaves. Now she reflects on it. She realizes that he was quite a bit different. He had long golden hair, which was not the male style in North Dakota in the 30s. So fairly unique to look at, and this strange dress, and she's aware of the great peace that she experienced, and his voice was very different. It almost had a rich musical quality to it. It's the way that she describes it. And shortly her siblings come home, and there's the warm blankets, and her father comes home, and the money that was there was $80. Now in the Depression, that was a lot of money. And it actually let the father take care of the things and make the changes so that the family could then gather the money to meet its needs successfully. Very simple, very beautiful. The thing is, 10 years old, sick, alone, in a cold house, you don't get much more powerless than that. If she can ask, so can you. Okay? But she did something. She asked that what was on her heart be fulfilled. You don't have to ask, but you can. She asked that what was meaningful to her come about. Now her purpose in that moment was so simple. Just a little girl wanting to help her family. But my understanding is that your desires, hopes, dreams, and wishes, and their fulfillment are as important as those of any other soul in existence. If that's true, my guess is if you ask, something's going to happen. Okay. So just check. Are you willing to look and see what's going on, what you're about? Are you willing to ask for what is important to you to happen? Okay. Now understand, it's okay to say no, but it's a choice. Are you willing to ask? Let's take a look. And if you are, simply join me in, I am willing. Together. I am willing. With great love to yourself. I am willing. Now, courageously enough that someone might overhear it and hold you to it. Together. I am willing. Willing to ask. That's a step. But what is important for you? All the support is there for it to come forth. Because your purpose is as important as it is for any other soul. So if it was there for Jesus, and it was there for Julie, get ready, because it's there for you. Bless you.
Anybody going to ask this week? Anybody going to ask? Absolutely. What did David tell us? We can ask. Nobody gave us permission before, David. Thank you. Thank you. And at Christmas, it's the perfect time to ask. Okay, and if you would like prayer support, ask for it, okay? If you need support for challenges or celebrations in your life, please ask one of our heart ministers to pray with you today. And they'll be available not outside, but somewhere in here, over in a corner, and go and ask for them to pray with you. You're also invited to place a prayer request in our box out in the foyer or over in the book center, and our heart ministry will be praying with you during the week. Now it's time for our prosperity celebration, and we are prosperous. So I encourage you to take out your tithes and your love offerings, and if you're sharing them with someone, hold hands, and with me, please affirm our prosperity blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we are grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, our children are busy rehearsing to give you a wonderful family Christmas Eve service, 5:30 tomorrow night. And remember, there's that beautiful experience at 8 o'clock, which is our traditional candle lighting. And look forward to sharing this powerful, powerful time together. So let's bless our children and that delightful child within you. Together, children, you are loved, special, and important. God loves you, and so do we. We receive these gifts so grateful that we know the source of infinite goodness and blessings, and we are all open individually and collectively to letting that abundance flow through and bring forth the purpose that we share. In His joy. Amen. I invite you to take hands and stand, and let's share together our prayer of protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our peace song. The love and the light and the peace in the earth right now. So let it shine and have fun.